Hello and welcome to Airports Company South Africa's Women in Aviation series, where we highlight prominent women who are pioneering in the aviation space. And today I'm in conversation with Dr. Mpho Modisane.
Hi, I'm the Group Manager, Risk Management at Airports Company South Africa.
So let's start here. I looked you up, LinkedIn, a number of other profiles as well. Over 20 years in aviation. Started in South African Airways. You were even in the Civil Aviation Authority at some point, and now, of course, with the Airports Company South Africa. Talk to us about aviation. What sparked your interest in it, and why was this the place that you felt as though, as Dr. Mpho Modisane, I want to fly here. I want to soar here.
You'll actually be interested to know that it was Airports Company South Africa that made me to be interested in aviation.
Yeah.
You know the school visits? The students come over to the airports and they visit. So Airports Company South Africa used to be very big on that. They would go to schools in villages as well to say, come visit the airport. So I came for an airport visit when I was in primary school.
Wow.
And in those years, you could even go to the aircraft. You know, there was no security issues. So I came here, I went to see the airport, and I went to see the aeroplanes, and I went back to school, and I decided when I grow up, I want to work at the airport. So it was that simple. And so when I matriculated, I was 17, I decided I want to go to the airport, and I applied to South African Airways. And they told me, no, you are too young. We take 18-year-olds and plus. And I was still 17. So my parents thought, go to university. And when you finish university, you can still go back. And I can tell you, my mother thought maybe I will change my mind and do something else. And he thought the first life of airports, this one is a softie. And so I finished university and I told them, I want to go to the airport. And so I applied again at South African Airways and I got in.
Wow.
And so that's how my journey started. Yeah.
That is how the journey started. I love the story because you actually can locate in your mind the day, what was happening, what you saw, what inspired you. So fast track a couple of years at SAA, you're in the aviation industry now. You're a corporate girl now. What were some of the challenges that you encountered at a young age? Ambitious, but knowing that you have so much to give. What were some of the challenges, and talk to us about how you overcame them?
So you would know aviation is male dominated, and it's not that someone did something wrong somewhere. It's the way it was. In those years, girls used to stay at home and take care of children. Women used to stay at home and take care of children, and men would work. So the environment was made for men, and I like to put it that way because I have two brothers and I know they care about women. I have people around me who are men and they care about us. It's only that we never used to be in the industry. It was just them, and so it was designed for them. So most of the things I would be walking around and I would be saying, but this was not designed for us. A lot of things. Working hours, the shifts, you can see this shift is not made for someone who will eventually have children. And eventually I started having children and I would struggle. I would have to take my firstborn child to the office and sometimes he would be sleeping there because we're working through the night. And eventually I thought to myself, I don't want to give up on this industry, but the way the shifts and everything else has been designed, it's not favorable for us women. I can name a whole lot of other things that you would have to do physical training of sorts, where you can see that my makeup does not allow me to do certain things, but because they were designed at the time for people who had more strength, it is that way. So there's just quite a number of things that you would look around and say, it wasn't designed for girls. That's just about that. Yeah.
But you didn't let that stop you.
Yeah, I wouldn't, and I would approach the powers that be and I would tell them, this and that is an assessment that needs to be done. I do not think the amount of strength you need for this assessment is necessary. I think I can still do this without you expecting me to reach that level of proficiency physically. And you know, you will be amazed. People would say that they would get a pushback. I never got a pushback because the way I raised it being the woman that I am, the emotional person that I am. I didn't try and claim that I have strength and I can push and I can do it. I was honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
About the shifts as well. I raised it and I said, I still would like to be a woman who has children, who has a family, but I still want to be in this industry. And I think you need me because I'm different from you. The industry will be better if there was more women. And it's amazing. I had a male boss and he agreed and he said, yeah, this is not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have a workshop and change this and that? So I did see that happening to me earlier in my career, that when you do challenge things with facts, because you have to be factual about things, I challenged it with facts, and I got it done.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about what you do in the company now. Risk, compliance, what drew you to that department, that division?
So I had always known I want to do something in commerce. I was more aligned to commerce, and I looked around the industry and I said, what is it that I can do in commerce? So I would profile people and see this one is like that, and I would try and match myself to that and see, can I not do this? And at some stage I came across risk managers, and I looked at the way they pay attention to detail, just the way they go about doing their work. Having this way, there's a way around getting people to do things the way the organization would like to be done, the way they relate with people. And I thought, I too relate with people like that. I do pay attention to detail. So I looked and I ticked a lot of boxes, and I said, this is my profession. And so I went for risk management much later in my career, by the way.
Yeah.
But because I was naturally inclined to do functions that are related to risk management, it was easy for me. It's very easy. Yeah.
So you identified yourself in some of the work, and you said,
did.
this is a glove that I can fit in.
I did.
And you've gone all the way. PhD is the latest sort of trophy that gets to be on display when we look at your life and we look at all that you have accomplished. For some people, it's interesting. You know, the PhD qualification is the next thing to do in the line of qualifications. Others, it's a lifelong dream. Which is it for you?
Yeah, it's somewhere in between the two.
Yeah,
somewhere in between the two. It's well, I'm a typical academic, so at any given time I will be studying throughout my life. I just have that yearning for more knowledge, so I cannot stop. So that's the one part. The other part is that knowing that you are an expert in what you do, and it's very important. You don't want people to listen to you because now it's time for women. Women must rise and listen to me, I'm a woman. You also want people to trust you because you've gone all the way and studied. And I thought about that and I said, I don't want to shortchange myself and ride on the cloud of women being uplifted. I must also do my part.
I love that. You're a mom?
Yes.
You were talking to us today. You were sharing a story about your child today. What's that like, that balance, that work-life balance?
Yeah, no balance.
Sometimes
There
it tips over.
Yes, it does. It does tip over. I do find common ground somewhere. I bring my children on board and I tell them I'm working, and there's some days that I will work until 12 midnight. There's days that I will work like other mummies until 5 o'clock. And I tell them, you have to bear with me. I want to give you attention, but I have to work at the same time. I like it. And I tell them, and I don't want my children to think there's an enemy called work. I tell them I like working, by the way, but I also, love all of you guys. But it fulfills me for me to do my work and finish and do it to perfection. So they understand. Even the 7-year-old does understand. She understands.
That it fulfills you.
It does.
And for me to be the best mommy to you, I also need to be fulfilled.
Definitely.
So important. Lastly, Dr. Modisane, what's your message to young women? When we talk about gender equality, it's not just about parity. It's not just about giving women opportunities. It's about that fulfillment that you feel when you do what you love and you live a life that is full. That is what we wish for all women from all walks of life. So young women who are watching, what's your advice to them today?
Yeah, definitely define it in your own words. Doesn't matter who you are. We're all different. Don't go and look up a book that says that it should look like this. It shouldn't look like the next person. It should look like you. You know your personal circumstances. You know how many children you have or how many children you want to have. Design it according to what you want to have, but do not allow yourself to compromise too much. Eventually, you will not be fulfilled. If you want to have children, have children. Take a bit of a break from going up the corporate ladder. Take care of your children. Go up the corporate ladder again. Educate yourself. And don't compare yourself to men. You're not a man, you're a girl, and it's okay to be a girl. You still have a place within your industry. Nobody is trying to take anything away from you. And I think what I've seen people doing is being preoccupied with the fact that the men don't want us. And it's not true. It's you find your place and you will see that it will be your own place. Only if you define it in your own words.
One last question. August 9th, we celebrate the women who marched to the union buildings. We celebrate that spirit, that pioneering spirit. Aviation in South Africa, do you think women are still pioneering in that sector today?
Oh yes, they are. They are. Some of them are in policy departments. Some of them are in CEO positions. I mean, majority of the CEOs in this aviation industry, I'm talking SOEs now, we don't have control over other, it's women. You can see that we didn't get there because somebody's doing us a favor. The women are doing very well. All those organizations that have women, you look at all of them, the women are doing very well. So yes, we are. We just need to make sure that we bridge that generational gap. We shouldn't leave younger girls behind. We should bring them along with us. So when we step onto the next role, we have them stepping into our roles. We want to hold that place. We don't want to let it go. So definitely aviation, the women are leading.